see if the oh, our names aren't coming up. All right. Well, welcome to Rock Talk with
Brian.
And Dave.
And what do you think of that intro, guys? That's pretty metal.
Oops.
Oh.
That's the wrong one. Okay. As usual, in rehearsal, it worked perfectly. But yeah, so that's who's here. And so today in the show, we missed, like I said in Dave and Brian Live, we missed we missed doing this last time because it just got too late. And you know, we had already been streaming for over 3.5 hours, so but hopefully we can see some people coming in. So this show, we're going to talk a little bit about an album from Tool, but I've got the Logic Cam up here. Okay, that's still working.
Wow, look.
Cool. So I guess you can talk a moment about. There we go. So again, the Logic Cam up here, and then the us's are over here.
Are we the evil us's?
I don't know, but yeah, that's why you didn't see the names come up for Dave and Brian Live. I was working with a test image, a test stack of things, but Stella. Anyway, enough about my never-ending technical problems. So that's what it's supposed to look like for Rock Talk here. That's Brian's, and that's Mayan's. That did look pretty metal.
Yeah.
That was also a free template. I
cool.
Just modified it a little bit, and then yeah.
Wait, is the skull wearing sunglasses?
No. It's not a
Okay.
skull.
Okay.
So let's get right into it. And I know that they go, ooh, don't play with the Ouija board because it's dangerous. I mean, it's made by Hasbro. How dangerous could it possibly be?
Yeah.
And Stella's just like, I'm going to shove myself right in here. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be right here. So this is a Ouija board that I bought at Spirit Halloween. It is an exclusive edition. I'm not sure exactly what that means, what's exclusive about it, but here it is.
Cool.
So I've never used one of these. Have you?
A Ouija board?
Yeah.
Yeah, way back. Yes, I have. So it's kind of neat that you got the board with these letters, and you use this piece, and whoever we call, we ask them questions, and if we ask yes or no questions, they'll say yes or no. And if we ask another question, then they'll type out the word that they're trying to say.
Type out.
Well, spell out. And then when we say goodbye, they say goodbye.
Goodbye. So this is the actual board itself.
That's cool.
I guess it's pretty compact. It's pretty good because your keyboard's still right there. And this is the actual piece. Oh, this one, a special edition because there's nothing here. So I guess.
This is for us to see the letter.
Yeah, but usually there's a piece of plastic or glass or something like that with with a little dot in the middle, but this one doesn't have that dot. And that's it. That's the whole box.
The instruction will be on the back.
Usually instructions are, you know, inside on paper. So, place 2 fingers lightly on the panani. Let the bravest among you ask the first question. Give the Ouija enough time to respond. Remember, spirits can't be rushed. My mama said you can't rush spirits. You just gotta wait. Constipate deeply. The panani doesn't. If the panani doesn't move, ask it another question and focus. Will Ouija tell you yes or no? Will it give you a number to spell out or spell out an answer? Always speak slowly, which I think we do quite well, and clearly. Just as friendly spirits prefer. And don't forget to say goodbye when you're done, and let the spirits move you. So what it doesn't say is, like, is there a starting position?
I guess just in the middle.
So you're supposed to hold it like this, or like on the outsides?
Look at the picture.
It's the yeah, it's.
I guess just in the middle, and then. Yeah. We're not supposed to move it. We're supposed to let them move it.
All right. So that is. So we thought we'd see if we can find some artists who have passed on.
Who would you like to talk to?
I don't know. It says the bravest among us. So I guess you'll ask.
I mean, first. But who do we want to talk to? Because we have to ask them.
Yeah, well, you can ask first.
But we have to. I'd like to decide first on who we're going to contact.
Well, I thought you were going to tell me.
I mean, someone we should both want to talk to.
All right. Well, we're waiting.
All right. How about Peter Steele from Type O Negative?
All right.
Could be Jimi Hendrix.
All right.
Could be Kurt Cobain.
I mean, let's pick one.
All right, let's do Peter Steele. Let's try that.
Okay. Right. So no, we have to keep our eyes open, right?
Yeah. We should focus, but like we keep our eyes open because we have to find out what's going on.
All right.
I forget how to do this.
Yeah, the instructions are really lacking.
All right. I guess we just like call out. Peter Steele from Type O Negative. Can you talk to us, please?
We're calling the spirits. Please contact us. Speak with our audience, which will hopefully come later.
Peter Steele of Type O Negative, can you please talk to us?
Must concentrate. I like how the fog is kind of going through the board.
Yeah, that's neat.
Maybe I should have looked this up. Doesn't seem to be working.
Well, I can look it up very quickly if you like.
Well, maybe we'll jump back into this in a little bit.
All right.
So, hopefully they won't flag my video. But the first song here on is inoculum a word? Like, I'm not even.
Fear inoculum.
But what is inoculum?
I am looking that up right now. I believe it will. I'm guessing it's some sort of cure.
So.
A substance used for inoculation. So yes, the inoculation for fear.
Oh, okay. This song, I don't care for like the high pitch kind of grindy, screechy song, but the song gets a lot better from there.
I do like this part. I tend to like this part because I like weird, noisy music. So this is cool for me.
I mean, the rest of it's okay, but it's that high pitched sound is just really irritating to me.
Yeah.
It does a little bit remind me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Press.
Yeah.
Has that spot where they had it was supposed to be a camera cycling through with a flash, I think. So, now what I like about here, drummer.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you would know.
Danny Carey. Danny Carey's the drummer.
Oh, you're a way bigger Tool fan, so. But I like how he is sticking mostly to the drums, and not too much on the cymbals here because it just feels like that works better with the song.
Yeah. He's also very busy throughout the album.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of fills. There's a lot of like just very busy drum beats with the toms.
And there's a lot of another review I saw was like a lot of fills that like cover things and like are very specific, not just kind of there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
But it's also interesting how he and the bass player like sync up pretty neatly.
Yeah. Well, really, it's pretty standard. I mean, the rhythm section is the drums and the bass.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a lot of time signature changes in the song as well.
Well, always there's it's a Tool song. There's always gonna be crazy time change signatures.
But this, if you haven't heard this album and you're at all interested, I recommend that you do. I'm trying to buy some time so we know what we're doing here.
Oh, okay.
But definitely listen to it on a really good pair of headphones because the way the stereo separation is really amazing. The way things sound like really spread out far, and then like sometimes it'll be kind of like in the middle, or it's the engineer in the band did an amazing job with this album, and in certain songs especially. So it was a long wait for this album, for lots of different reasons, but it's once again amazing. Even though there are a lot of parts of this album that like, oh, this sounds very similar to this song from the previous album or this song from the previous album. So, but it's still different enough. And there's some of those fills again. It's there's some of the symbols. They tend to be a little bit darker too, though, and kind of minimized, and more of the drums. And it's a pretty long song. It's 10 minutes and 20 seconds for the first song. But the next one is even longer at 11 minutes 53 seconds. That's Numa. And again, the beginning of this song is a lot like 10,000 Days, and I forget what song that was, but so that's a very familiar, I guess, riff there from. Hi, Stella. Hey, hi, Stella. Yes, hi. Well, okay. Well, I guess we have some work to do on this show. Yes, hi, Stella. Yes, hi, Stella. Hi. I said hi, Stella. Good.
So I'm finding things like how to use it, but like not how to call.
Yeah.
Here, what's this?
So the quest begins. Dim the lights. Well, I guess we're not going to do that. Set the mood and see what secrets you will unlock when you use the mysterious Ouija board. It glides across the board. The Ouija thing will reveal a hidden message. Ouija, are you there?
Oh, I see. So we're supposed to say Ouija are there.
Well, I'm sure it's just.
And we are supposed to move this around to warm it up.
Oh,
So let's give it a shot.
okay.
So go ahead, we'll just move it around the corners of the board and get it warmed up, okay?
Water on it, which isn't good.
And we're supposed to decide a medium, so I'll be the main medium. You can ask questions, but I'll be the main guy. All right. Ouija, are you there?
So we are calling on the spirits tonight to see if anyone wants to talk to us, specifically musicians.
Yep.
Well, rock musicians, of course.
Ouija, are you there?
Luigi, are you there?
And we're supposed to be polite and ask clear questions.
Yep. So, would you please answer our questions tonight?
Here goes something. Peter Still, will you talk to us tonight?
All right.
Oh, whole lot of nothing. Ouija, are you there? Now we are supposed to close. When we're done, we're supposed to say goodbye to close the portal. Now let's try somebody else. Jimi Hendrix, will you talk with us tonight? Is that you moving, I guess?
I'm very sure it's you.
Okay. Well, we get a little bit of movement, but...
How many spirits are in the room right now? Or nearby who can hear our voice?
Can you hear us right now? All right, let's try something else. Let's just go ahead and review the album, I guess, because this doesn't seem to be happening.
Do we need to say hello? Maybe forgot to say hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All spirits and ghosts.
Can you hear us right now?
We'd like to speak to you through this Ouija board.
Yeah, this is.
Not such a special edition after all.
Yeah,
Well, goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Fear Inoculum. And sorry about that, everybody. We thought we'd give it a shot.
Yeah. Well.
Maybe we'll try next time.
I know the pieces fit fine.
Because you watched them fall away?
Yeah. Oh, we do have one person watching, so hello. Don't be shy. Go ahead and join us in the chat. If you know anything about these Ouija boards, we don't seem to be doing too well with ours. So what do you think 1 foot nailed down means?
It means stuck, or partially stuck at least.
But like in the song, like
It's meant to convey that. Oh, hi, John. It's 1 foot nailed down. You can't really get anywhere. You can move, but
hello. I have another. Oh,
Bodie62. He says, sorry I missed you both while in Orlando. Staying Scream was not worth the wait in the hot sun, but I enjoyed... Oh, Hagrid's. Cool. But Tigers at Busch Gardens is the best I've been on. Already planning 2020. Cool. All right.
really the best? It looks like such a short ride.
But it's probably a lot of fun for the time you're on it.
I guess. Do you happen to... So you were here and unfortunately you missed us. So that's too bad. We were trying this Ouija board here to see if we can contact spirits of deceased musicians. But we seem to not know what we're doing.
Or we weren't getting any response. I don't know. Maybe it's too early for everybody.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Tool album, which finally was released last month. Some good head banging here.
Yeah.
Again, this song is almost 12 minutes. It does repeat a little bit, but now
the longest song on the album is Tempest, which is at 15 minutes 43 seconds.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not as long as Echoes.
No, but like a lot. It's a good mix of long and short songs. So you've got.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs under, let's say 2:30. There's a 2-minute 15-second song, a 3-minute 10-second song, and another 2 minutes 5 seconds. So it's not like every single song is over 10 minutes long. There's a good mix in there.
Yeah.
So Dave? What do you think?
It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to listen to it, even though unfortunately you haven't been able to buy it yet.
Yeah. I happen to like the back end of the album. I liked Invincible, and then everything after that, all the way to the end, was pretty interesting to me. I'm not sure what it was, but the first half of the album just, I don't know, maybe a little too proggy for me. But I found it cool and a little amusing that Invincible was like 4 or 5 songs
I'm still on that camera.
all put together in a 12-minute 44-second song. Like there were times I even like looked back. I was like, is this still the same song? Yep, yeah, it is. So like it's like what you said, like a lot of time change signatures, a lot of melody changes. I mean, easily that it almost sounds like a medley song where there's all these like differences, and it almost seems like it's a different song, but it's still the same song.
Yeah. I really like the first Fear Inoculum.
Yeah.
Once you get past the first.
See, I like this part.
It's awful.
I like it.
It's awful. Like it's like going to the dentist and having my teeth drilled. But the rest of it I like a lot more. You like this, which is just a bunch of sounds.
Yeah, the chocolate chip trip.
Like wind chimes and stuff.
That's why I like it. It's this bizarre instrumental.
Very industrial.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like a very, very, very slow version of oh, what am I forgetting?
It sounds like they sounds like Endless and Nameless, where like they were just jamming out,
Yeah.
and just put it on the album.
Kind of sounds like a slow version of On the Run.
Not really, but okay.
Well, like a very slow version of On the Run, where it's that repeated instrumental with all those weird sounds.
Doesn't sound like it to me, but okay.
Kind of reminds me of On the Run. Now, do you think it was worth the wait?
Well, it's hard for any album to be worth that much of a wait, but I'm just glad that we aren't making jokes about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to finally hear it. Oops. For a while, like I wasn't sure if they would actually have another album.
Yeah. I wasn't sure myself. What would you say is your favorite song?
I don't know.
Oh, definitely. If you're going to listen to this album, definitely use headphones.
Yeah.
The better pair you can find.
Yeah.
Earbuds would work, but like if you want to like go get you like a proper pair of headphones.
Yeah. I really like Klipsch. Klipsch. That they are a high-end brand.
Oh.
Unlike what Bose pretends to be, but they're not as expensive.
Mm-hmm.
At least some of them, they're lower end stuff. Like the earbuds I have are about $100.
Yeah.
The speakers I have in the other room are $150 or around there, but they sound tremendously better. They sound like they cost a lot more. So I put the earbuds in, and it blocks out noise, so I don't have to turn it up as loud, but the stereo separation and the way it's engineered, being able to hear both sides distinctly instead of just kind of filling a room, it makes a big difference in appreciating it. Now for this album, first time I heard it, I did do what it says on the box here and sat in a dark room to set the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of laying there listening to it, which is pretty cool. but I'm pretty sure that "Sober" was the first Tool song I heard of, because I the few times I got to watch MTV, that video was on
Yeah.
all the time back
Yeah.
then. So just kind of remember that, and eventually listened to some other songs of theirs. And when they came out with their album all those years ago now in 2006, I was like, I guess I'll buy it, and listen to it out a lot.
Hmm?
And then a few years later, I'm like, okay, cool. So I wonder when they're coming out with an album next. And then I wondered that for over 10 more years.
So my story is very similar to yours. I grew up in a house with cable. I got to see a lot of MTV and a lot of horror movies I was way too young to watch. But it helped shape my taste in music. Part of MTV was a show called Liquid Television,
Oh, yeah.
which was a bunch of animation shorts. So that actually helped me develop my taste in animation and
Yeah.
kind of my sense of humor. So you did not grow up in a house with cable. Why don't you briefly just share your story about that?
Well, I didn't. My family lived in a very small town, and on a hill. I grew up in a house on a hill. I don't think it was haunted. So the problem is that the cable company charged. It was free, to a certain point, but like after a certain distance, they charged per foot, and after that cutoff point, it was about 1,200 feet, according to what my parents told me at the time. It was 1,200 feet from their cutoff point to the house, so it would have cost them $1,200 to install cable, and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So when I would come down here to Florida, it's my grandparents' condo, because it was a condo in the city. They had cable, so that was the only time that my family, my sisters and I, could watch MTV, and it was like a big deal. Oh my gosh, we could watch cable, and it got to the point where, back in the day, my sister would ask her friends at school to. Back then, if you're too young, MTV showed music videos all day.
Yeah. That was pretty
all
much
they
it.
did. So basically, she's like, I think they gave him like a Betamax or a VHS tape, and said like, put this in your VCR, put it to MTV, and just record.
Yeah.
And
Now-
that was how they watched music videos. It just ran until the tape ran out, and that was all we can get.
Now, MTV did have shows. They had music video blocks. Like, there was Club MTV, which was pretty much just like your electronic music and your techno. 120 Minutes, which was alternative and indie bands. Headbangers Ball, which was metal and rock. Pretty much like there were like certain times where it was like just like kind of everything and anything, but like most of the time it was like a structured block segment. And 120 Minutes was actually 120 minutes long. It was 2 hours long. The Headbangers Ball was 2 hours long. I think Club MTV was an hour. But yeah, like way back when, MTV was known for playing music videos. That's what the M in MTV stands for, music television. So I was like you. I heard Sober and saw the video, and the video was kind of heavy. Like I was pretty young, and like it was very symbolic and abstract, but it was cool, and the music was cool. So I ended up hearing Undertow, the whole album, and that was very cool. I've also heard whatever was before Undertow.
Overtow? Or just toe?
No. It was I always forget the name of this. The one with that 3-armed priest on the cover.
I don't know.
Opiate. So I've heard that. When it comes to Tool, I'm more of a fan of the older stuff than the newer stuff. However, so I've heard Undertow. I've heard Anima. Anima's a very good album. I found Anima to be pretty heavy emotionally. I'm not sure if that makes much sense. And I've heard all the albums at this point. I would suppose... I'm not sure what my favorite is. Latterus was all over the radio at that time. Our rock station Zeta used to play a lot of Latterus songs. Especially... Let me look up the track listing. Oh, especially The Pot. They played that a lot. Schism, they played Parable. And the title track, Latterus. But I've
Which
always...
album was that?
What? Which one was what?
That you're talking about?
Latterus?
The Pot was on,
10,000 Days.
yeah.
But Zeta did play a lot of that song as well.
Oh. By that point, I'd already given up on radio.
Yeah.
But I listened to it because I had the album.
I've always found Tool's approach to music kind of neat. The way they go very melodic and then very proggy and then very, very... all within like a single song has always been very, very neat to me. The way that the drums and the bass work so well together, and then Maynard's vocals will be almost kind of like a lullaby on top of it. So like you got all this heavy music and then these like almost operatic vocals. So Boyd62 says, do yourself a favor on YouTube, Aussie 60s and 70s rock music, best music we'll listen to. And cool. I'm looking up a song that I heard from an Aussie YouTuber. No.
It says warm up the board by doing circles or figure 8.
Yeah, we tried doing that.
Well, it kind of went zigzaggy around that way.
Yeah.
We could try that. There's a lot of silly things like, don't do it in your home because you'll invite an evil spirit. And like, oh, come on. Well, apparently there aren't any like real like not silly things to it. So.
Yeah. The Angels, Boydie. I've heard Take a Long Line by the Angels from a Aussie YouTuber, and that's a neat song. So, Boydie62 is from Australia and listens to a lot of 60s and 70s rock music. So, I've kind of taken your suggestion without knowing I was taking your suggestion.
Yes, hi Stella. Hi Stella. Yes.
Boydie, you might enjoy a YouTuber named Going On Cunts. He does a lot of Australian dubs of like American movies or shows, and so like the one I saw was Predator 1987, but it's all the Australian dub instead of Little Richard. They're playing the Angels.
Stella.
So that's really cool. Boydie, why don't you leave a comment about like the Angels? Let me make sure I'm reading that right. It's not the Ingles.
So then seven impist starts out like this.
Thank you, buddy. You see, this kind of like starts off good right away.
Yeah.
See, I've always found this neat. The way that the bass on the guitar can just do this chugga like this.
I remember we went to that concert back at Nova University the one time where I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, hey, I hear some music. We were like across the street, like in halfway through the apartment complex. I opened my window and I heard rock because the stage was kind of facing our apartment and it was blasting. So I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure there's a rock concert going on right now. So we both went over.
Yeah. It was a bunch of like local metal bands putting on a free show.
Yeah.
But like, we got to enjoy it. We got to mush around a little bit, and
amazingly, they gave away a guitar, which was like a really nice guitar too.
Yeah. You had to answer a trivia question properly, but yeah.
And that was one of the few concerts, I don't remember others, where they had a bass solo.
Oh yeah.
The bass players don't usually get a solo, and I always thought it was interesting how much a bass can sound like the lead guitar with the right effects and pedals and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Which is partly why like Primus is the bass player is the lead instrument.
Yeah. So that's why it works well together, because they can sound very similar.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a lead and rhythm guitar, but bass.
Yeah. But like it's always been the neat thing about Tool is they're just so dynamic musically and so expansive musically. Like they're not just like you know what to expect with Tool. Like when they do that chugga, like you're like, okay, yeah, that's Tool. Like you could play that out of context and like
Stella.
A lot of people would be like, oh yeah, that's Tool. That sounds exactly like Tool.
Stella pushing the camera out of the way.
Yeah. But like, yeah, that sounds like Tool. That's your classic Tool.
I mean, it's pretty much a thing for heavy music. But.
Yeah, but like Tool just does it like in a way that's unmistakable.
Try Masters and Apprentices. One of the Aussies bands. Aussies band ever? Aussieists?
He meant to say one of the best Aussie bands ever.
Oh.
It was somehow like the word didn't make it in there.
Oh.
I've done that too, Bodhi. I've been like, how did I not type that word? Oh well.
I thought it was like, of all the Charlie Browns, you're the Charlie Browniest. Like, of all the Aussies, you're the Aussiest.
Yeah. You are the Rickest Morty. Yes. You are the Mortiest Rick. But like, Tool also like go into like sections of songs that like, if you heard it out of context, you'd be like, oh, that doesn't sound like Tool, but it is Tool.
Yeah.
Which is
well, it's like the early Pink Floyd doesn't sound like what people think of Pink Floyd.
Oh, Bodhi still has jet lag.
Oh.
When'd you get back, Bodhi?
When did you arrive?
Yeah.
You probably told us when you're coming, but sorry we missed you.
Yeah. I think he said like during one of our Hard Night talks that he was coming late September.
Yeah. Well, So I'm assuming you came to Horror Nights to get to see this guy.
Yeah, did you make it into Killer Clowns, and did you happen to come through during my set? Did you see me? I was the cop. Don't worry, Dave. All I want to do is kill you. Oh.
Yeah.
Now my tag out does that too,
On
but
Sunday, okay. Like the first, I'm guessing it's like the first Sunday.
no, I think you mean to got back on Sunday.
Oh. And that's a little bit of that funky guitar sound that they put in their albums. We've heard that in other songs, that type of sound, but that was obviously also different.
I also appreciate the noisier parts of this album.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Did it 5 times when he was there.
Oh, cool. Well, I did.
Well, it's possible to go through this house 5 times and not see him, but
Wait a minute, Bodie. Did you come through with a friend and you guys? So I don't know if it was you, but like there was a time where there was like 2 guys came through my house and they were like, "Great party, isn't it? Great party, isn't it?" And I couldn't respond. I had to keep doing my scare, but I really appreciated that. So Bodie, if that was you, thank you very much. Because like whoever it was obviously knew who I was.
Yeah.
You see, I like the heavy music, but then
Yeah.
Maynard is just being so melodic. It's almost like he's singing to a different song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did find out that the band makes the music, and then he comes in and adds his words over it. So
Yeah, but
in a way, it is. Their drums, the toms, reminds me, even though it's not as tight, for some reason it reminds me of Time.
yeah, I can see. Yeah,
It's just not too many bands use the toms in that way.
mm-hmm.
Usually it's more just doom 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 doom,
Yeah,
which Pink Floyd also did in The Wall, which makes sense because it's kind of mocking rock and mocking concerts and stuff like that as it is. So
yeah.
so it makes sense that they would put all the kind of cliches of rock in that album.
Yeah.
Speaking of mock, this mocking beat.
This is also a neat little noisy instrumental.
Reminds me a little bit of Delight.
Yeah.
They have a song that's a little bit like this, where it's just bird noises and like a drum beat like this. So, yeah.
Cool. I think it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is like a very solid album. Some people are, I don't know, they seem, I guess, disappointed, but I think this is a solid album. It sounds like Tool. It sounds like old school Tool. So like, there's nothing. Oh well, they changed their sound so much. This is not Tool anymore. I mean, Radiohead is known for every single album not sounding like any other Radiohead album. It's just, like you would only know it's Radiohead because that's what it says. It says Radiohead. Here's the new album. Like Tool, like, I mean, you could play like any one of these songs and like, hey, who's just like pick like a random song and put a random section on it, and it's like, yeah, that sounds like Tool. So cool. let's move on.
Yeah.
If they were in town, would you want to try to see them?
Yeah, maybe, but they're not.
What? I mean, if they were coming at some point somewhere down the road.
It'd be a long time from now. It'd be at least next year, not later.
Maybe. But would you like to see them?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Now, hopefully it's not like the same old thing where the
They
tickets
might
sell.
not be able to.
Yeah, the tickets sell out in like a few minutes.
Because we did have the option to go that one year, but like we also wanted to see Roger Waters. So
Yeah.
And it was like, well, it's half the price and it's Roger Waters. So.
Yeah.
We never got to see Pink Floyd. I know that you know about Australian Pink Floyd, which is supposed to be a very good cover band. But I just don't know if I want to go to see a cover band.
I mean,
It's a bummer that I never got to see Pink Floyd and never will.
I mean, there was a time where Classic Albums Live was playing right here, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, do you want to go see it?" And they're like, "Nah."
Like, if I want to see a band, I want to see the band.
Yeah, but like sometimes the best you can do is a very good cover band.
Yeah, I'd just rather not then.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that with Roger Waters. Like when we saw Roger Waters, it was kind of a cover band with Roger.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they're playing all the songs perfectly.
Yeah, but there was 4 of them, and it's only one of the 4.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Those shows to me is like a really delicious cake that everyone already ate. And then you have that sort of cardboard piece on it with all those little decorations that go on the bottom of the cake that kind of stick around on the cardboard that the cake was served on. And like going to the Roger Waters show was kind of like eating the remnants of the icing that was on the cake that's left over. And like, well, I mean, technically it's a part of the cake, but I'd rather have had a piece of cake.
I don't know about all that. That's like describing getting scraps when you could have gotten the
Well,
real.
that's what it is.
But I mean, we're not getting scraps.
We're getting one of the 4 of them, and
But-
it's not really a full Pink Floyd show. It's just him doing songs of a band who kicked him out decades before.
But at the same time, it's a live experience. Like they're playing the songs perfectly. You know, you got the big
But
jumbo.
it's not the band.
But I don't think we should focus on that.
And that's the point of seeing a band live, is to see the band.
Yeah. So Nick Hawkins asks, "Who is the man behind you?" Talking about the skeleton.
Oh,
That's
we don't want to give away any information because we haven't been caught yet. I mean, I don't
Dead
think-
man tell no tales.
I mean, I don't think you could see this.
Oh, maybe he did see that.
I doubt it. Hello, it's me. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, funny story about this.
Whoa.
No, I come home one night. You have that standing in the kitchen, all propped up,
I knew it. I knew he'd fall for it.
and so I come in. It's at night, so like everything is completely dark, completely quiet, and I just look over and I see what looks like Dave just standing there, and I said, "Oh, why are you standing here in the dark?"
And
then,
I set it up like perfectly. So I spent a lot of time working on it because I turned on a light in the kitchen that would make it bright enough to see it, but not bright enough to see the detail.
yeah.
And I worked on putting the light in just the right spot.
So I come in, I see this, and it's just David. I'm like, "Why are you standing in the dark?"
Yeah, I see.
And
it,
then I come over and I see it's a cardboard cutout,
Yeah.
and up on a stand, and like Dave's eyes are crossed, and like I'm like, "Good job, Dave."
The idea was to have a kind of stand-in for when I. The problem is I'm the one who runs the camera, and I can't be running the camera from behind and also be on camera at the same time. So
Yeah.
that was the idea behind doing that. So, but welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I guess we can go back to something that I think that's French.
Oh, this is a weird song. This is like probably the weirdest Tool song that they've ever done.
At first, I heard this sound coming up, and then it does that transition, like, oh, that's a voice.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize it as a voice because it's so overly processed. Now, who do you think that is?
I mean, it's gotta be Maynard. Or it's a computer voice.
I think it's a bit like that talk box, the Framptonizer.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Or it's not really a voice directly, it's just being controlled by a voice.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I think it's actually an instrument.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Being formed into kind of a voice. And it's a little auto-tuning.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I heard about that. I can't understand how an airline can just be like, yeah, we're bankrupt, so oops, bye.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they should have an obligation because they took all that money to at least get them back. Like, okay, so you don't fly anybody else out of the country, but at least
honor your tickets.
At least honor the people who are now stranded.
But like I think, I guess it was operational costs, and they weren't making a profit. But
well, yeah, but still, they should still at least fly people back.
Sure.
I didn't know about that because I don't really follow the news until someone posted on Twitter that people who were in Orlando, that if they have tickets to fly back home and can't, that SeaWorld is giving everyone free admission to their park.
Oh, that's nice.
How they get there, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it must be costing them a whole bunch of money. Now, my understanding is people flying from the UK, the exchange rate is very favorable, so it's at least easier, but obviously they have jobs and lives to get back to, and now they can't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're doing with that, but if they are, Universal, I don't believe has announced anything regarding that, but that's just pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware of anything. It says a travel company, but I saw planes with that name on it, so I'm not that familiar with it. Sorry. But I guess they said the UK government refused to help them out financially because they didn't want to set a precedent of companies making poor decisions and then being bailed out. I think that the government should have given them just enough money to fly people back, and obviously make sure that their employees are compensated for that. But then that's it. Don't help them stay in business. Don't help them fly anyone else out. But just or maybe even, I mean, I guess it's a very American thing to think, maybe, but kind of take over the business and run it to long enough to have people who are stranded in other countries fly back and then have them shut down. But just to fly out in an airline, have a ticket back, and like, oh well, too bad.
Yeah.
This is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Anybody who's in a position to help out the people who were just going on holiday.
Yeah.
Should help, but I haven't been following it that closely.
Yeah. So Nick Hawkins says exactly that. I mean, the FAA are supplying Flight and SeaWorld are decent for doing the free admission, but yes, they refuse the oldest company in the UK, first company in the world to create package holidays, and so it's not like Thomas Cook is like this new company that was just like, well, yeah, we tried and it didn't work. I mean, they've been around. It's just who knows what's going on? Like just
I guess from what I read, it was just poor business decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least float the company.
Yeah.
Long enough to get people back, because it's not their fault that they booked a holiday through a company that was just mismanaged.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is, whatever happened, it's not the traveler's fault. But yes, obviously I feel badly for all the people who worked for them that are like, oh hey, surprise, you have no job as of now.
Yeah.
But it just seems like they shouldn't be able to just shut down and leave people wherever they are.
Now sometimes a company will make what seems like a good idea and it just doesn't go over well with the public. An example being like one of those clothing companies, a retail outlet, had a deal where they didn't do markup on certain items, and so it was like you pay factory price. That's it. You pay what we pay, and it did horribly, and the reason is like people like to feel like they're getting a deal.
Yeah.
So if they see something on sale, like, oh, it's on sale. Okay, this is a good deal. Well, I mean, it is on sale. It was never on sale. Like companies will even do like perpetually on sale things.
Yeah.
And so like who knows?
Pretty much every store in the mall.
Yeah. So maybe Thomas Cook did some what they thought was gonna be good deals, but like nobody went for them because it didn't seem like a good deal.
I don't
know. So Nick Hawkins says Brexit is what they're blaming it on. It's a joke. I need a green card. Brexit messes up a lot of things, especially within the international scope. So like
my understanding is it was based on a whole bunch of lies, which is I guess what politicians do, but
yeah, maybe. So it is, but it is not a joke, Nick. That like Brexit has screwed up a lot of things.
Well, it's a joke, isn't like it's pathetic.
Oh yeah.
And apparently, I used to watch I call it the Daily Show with John Oliver. It's last week tonight, but it's basically his version of the Daily Show, and he's just talking about how it was based on lies, and they voted for it, and how they had a chance to repeal it before it went through, but they're just not going to do that, but they probably should. So I don't know. It's a mess. We have plenty of our own problems with our
So Bodie62 says your hat reminds me of the hat Naughty Holder from the great UK band Slade used to wear. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, originally it was for going through Halloween Horror Nights houses, but I also wore it because it's kind of slashish. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Slash, especially Now I've seen a cigarette.
You see it, Dave? Oh. How do you play guitar like that?
Really well, thank you.
But look here.
I see a blank page.
That's what he's talking about.
Okay.
Oh.
So yeah.
Wait, Bodie, I've got a question. So looking it up, I see the mirror hat, and according to this article, Freddie Mercury sold him that hat before he went to Queen. Is that true? Have you heard that at all?
Was Freddie Mercury in a band before, or is it just before Queen?
But
started?
before he joined Queen, he just like had this hat, I guess, and sold it to him.
Queen have another lead?
No. He was their first one.
Oh.
Actually, well, if Bohemian Rhapsody is to be taken serious, there was a singer, but like before they really made it big, like they were on a local band. But they were
like the early days of Slipknot.
Yeah, they were also called Smile or Don't Forget to Smile instead of Queen.
Right. I don't know if this will go. It's kind of an American perspective, but maybe not. For the intro, I kind of wanted to go with a UK sounding voice, just because a lot of great rock has come out of the UK.
Yeah.
Start off with like, "Oi, it's time for rock talk," with a proper accent.
Yeah.
With Dave and Brian, but maybe it's I probably would have to pay a few dollars for a voiceover, but we'll see.
Well, any of our UK fans, would you be willing to do a voiceover for the introduction of Rock Talk? And maybe Dave could slip you a few bucks over PayPal. What do you guys think of that? Send this guy a private message if you like, or if you're interested. And
Well, it may still be about the same money. We'll see.
But I think it would be special for the fans that one of our own did the introduction.
So, oh wow, we've been live for a lot longer than I thought we would have been, and we haven't really said much. So, do you want to warm the board up one more time?
I suppose we'll try, and then maybe if it doesn't work, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. I want to put it higher up in the frame. I don't know, maybe. But I don't want to put it too close to this water
Yeah.
because it's cardboard. Well, it was fine what it was.
And no promises, guys, because when we tried this, it didn't do anything. So who knows if something will happen? Who knows if nothing will happen?
I like how it says turn off the lights, turn off electronics. I'm like, well, that would be the end of the show right there.
Yeah. You could hear us, I guess.
Well, no, because if the electronics were off, you wouldn't be able to hear or see us, because the camera, the computer would be off, everything would be off.
All right, so Ouija, can you hear us? You see, when I did this years and years and years ago, there was like an immediate response, but
Are there any spirits within the range of our voice who want to speak to us?
spirits, can you hear us?
Hello, spirits.
And we're supposed to be patient. And, maybe just nothing will happen. Who knows?
We're supposed to hold it as lightly as possible, I think.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm not pressing down. Spirits, can you hear us? Maybe we'll try this another time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye.
So,
Goodbye, spirits. All right.
So I'm going to make sure I switch it.
Oh, Nick Hoggins says, always summon good spirits, don't just say spirits.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it didn't work last time, so we're like, well, anybody, at least. Can't be picky if no one shows up.
Yeah. So Bodie
And move
says,
this away from the water.
yeah. Slade was earlier than Queen, and I can answer your question. So it's the first you heard of that. Maybe it's just like one of those like rumor things. I mean, it seems like it would make sense. Like that's the kind of hat Freddie would have.
Yeah.
And hey, you're starting up a band, okay? Or you're on the rise. Hey, cool. Here, want a hat? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up, Dave.
I'd like to be able to put this. It feels like when I push it down, it gets heavier. But oh, now it's just squirting off. Oh well.
So, Nick Hawkins says, last thing you want is a demon or your HHM will become everyday life. Yeah.
I don't know. I've already had enough. I've already had plenty of demons in my life.
Thank you for bearing with us through that. I'm sorry nothing exciting happened. But at least we had a pretty good show with just talking about the rock stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, let's just go through the opening sequence again and see if
all right.
The offline test worked perfectly fine. So it's the tricky part of when you go live, things always go wrong. So for those of you who missed the intro, wow. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. And listen, Bodie, seriously, thank you for getting up early to watch us, because I know it's very early there for you.
Yeah.
And you're jet lagged, and you probably wanted to lay in bed, but thank you for sticking with us. Yeah, you might be laying in bed. Who knows?
Yeah.